Hello again. A lot of people ask me, and a lot of people I work with use cycling in support of the trail running, endurance type running events. One person I used to know when I lived back in Britain, she was quite a good mountain runner. She was sort of world top 10 for a period of time, and she used a lot of cycling. In fact, at some points in time, she did more cycling than she did running. Her main event was uphill running, or uphill only races. So her main focus really was on improving her ability to run up hills. Cycling is quite similar to running uphill because if you think about it, in the pedal stroke, the main power phase is from sort of that position here, and then you pedal, push down, and then push back a little bit. And that's really what you do when you go uphill. You sort of, if that was the hill, you sort of push in, your body's being raised up, and then you push forward to move yourself forward. But there are a lot of other benefits to cycling for trail running than just improving your uphill capacity. If you live in a fairly flat area, then cycling can be quite an easy way of simulating climbs. Particularly if you use an indoor trainer, you can actually work out how long or what the duration it might take to run up a particular hill. And then you can simulate that on the trainer, whereas it's very difficult to do that in practice. You could try and find a treadmill. It's quite easy to find treadmills nowadays in gyms, but a lot of people have an indoor trainer in the house, and it's a much more convenient way to train. Cycling can also be used to increase the volume of your training. You can either do that by doing some short bike rides in addition to your running, or on your long run day, you can make the overall session a bit longer without having the same amount of muscle damage. So now I've done that very successfully with various athletes who've been training for very long races. So doing a trail run and then following that straight away with a bike ride gives you a much longer session, but it's not doing the same amount of muscle damage, and consequently you can step back into training more quickly. So you can have a sort of normal training week to follow it, but you've still done quite a long aerobic session. It's not the same as running for a really long time, but there is some similarity, and I've found that to be very effective. It's probably better to do the run first and cycle second, because the risk of injury goes up as you get more tired. So if you cycle first and then run second, you might think it's a better stimulation, but you run an increased risk of injury when you're tired. And of course, that's one of the reasons that you're using cycling in the first place, is to minimise muscle damage and minimise the risk of injury. If you're doing a lot of running, say you're doing 7 or 8 sessions a week, you can just replace some of your running sessions with cycling sessions, and that might give you the opportunity to make some of your running sessions a bit longer. And we know that there is actually a little bit of added stimulus by doing longer sessions than there is by doing, say, 2 shorter sessions. You can use the bike to simulate your race. You might have 3 climbs of about 45 minutes to an hour, and you can do 3 by 45 minutes at tempo. As well as actually building the fitness, you've got that mental toughness that you've practiced working at a certain intensity for a certain period of time. Bearing in mind this speed thing, you need to do some fairly good, faster running sessions probably at least once a week, and that's also important for any trail runner. If you're doing all your training at quite a slow pace on fairly technical terrain or rough terrain or very hilly, then you're going to be slower runner anyway. Your actual running on the flat is going to get slower. So it's important to maintain that by doing some faster training. It might be just a tempo run on a fairly fast loop, or it might be just a visit to the track once every week or 2. Just to maintain that biomechanics, and really it's a neuromuscular skill that's important in getting faster. You'll find that if, say you haven't done any fast running for a while, and you do a few weeks of fast running, without increasing your fitness, you'll actually get faster, and that's just because you're actually getting better at running faster. Anyway, I hope that's interesting and useful. Please make some comments, let me know your experiences, whether you find this useful, if you find other things useful that you'd like me to talk about, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.